Well, guys, there's one word I have to say I'm going to have you look up in the dictionary when I use it. Because that's the way I'm going to use it to describe Syracuse football in the first half and describe Buffalo Bills in the first half. That is somnambulism. Because that's exactly the way it looked. And for those of you who are mentally challenged in technical terms, somnambulism is the other word for sleepwalking. Which, I don't know whether I suffered from it, but that's the way to describe them. Exactly like what happens when kids get up in the morning for school. That's exactly the way it looked like with their offense in the first half. Because, Syracuse just kind of sleptwalked through it. And Boston College, whose offense is kind of somnambulating, got put up 6 points. Yeah, both of them. And then all of a sudden in the third quarter, ding! Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. The alarm clock goes off. Why, that's a bad alarm clock. I'm going to need to get a new model. My model's about 50 years old. Oh well. It went off and suddenly 3 touchdowns in the span of about 7-8 minutes, including a nice punt return for a touchdown. Plus, you got to see Tucker and you got to see Schrader show off their moves. Yeah, Eric Dungy is actually pretty impressed with Garrett Schrader, if you know what I mean. Coming from a guy who knew how to put the moves on when he played for the Orange. Of course, I didn't get to party with him, but oh well. Yeah, big win. 21-6 over Boston College. Which, means one win away from the Orange going bowling. Strike! Oh, wrong bowling. But you know what I mean. Of course, there's several sites that have predictions out. Several of us have us going to the inaugural Fenway Bowl there in Boston. That would be pretty interesting, going to Boston for a bowl game. Of course, others kind of want to see us back in the Pinstripe Bowl there in Yankee Stadium. There could be a conflict of interest. Either Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. Any Red Sox or Yankee fans around? But I digress. One more win, and hell. The thing is, it's going to be upset city if we do. Louisville's pretty tough at home, so is North Carolina State. But I don't know if North Carolina State is as good as they seem. Same thing maybe with Pitt. Although Pickett threw for over 500 yards, Miami beat him with a guy that we tried to get to be our quarterback, Van Dyke. Yikes. Well, we'll see. Now I'm going to go from talking about Orange football to Orange basketball quickly. Our 2 exhibition games happened this past week. And looks like we might have a new 3-point attack there. Cole Swider, one of the ones who transferred in. Looks like he's got a pretty good touch. Yes, we definitely were on pace to win that first game. Of course, we set the pace and we beat pace. Now we're going to go for the pole position, hopefully. Oops, wrong sport. But of course, last night, our old Catholic friends from Syracuse was our other exhibition opponent. But you know what? Lemoyne wouldn't beat us in an exhibition this time. Yeah, we went up 90-50. Almost like a big split, if you want to divvy up something. But I digress. Yeah, Cole Swider looks like he's pretty good from the outside. Frank Anselm and Jesse Edwards look like they could be pretty good big men inside. But what about the Boeheim boys? Yeah, both Jimmy and Buddy definitely look pretty good. Of course, it's next Tuesday that it all starts to count. Yeah, we play the guys from Easton, Pennsylvania for our first official basketball game, Lafayette. Now the thing is, right near Christmas time, we play Lehigh. You know, Lafayette and Lehigh are only a few miles apart there in Easton and in Bethlehem. Could there be a little bit of the game? Nah, not on the basketball court. Nah, not against Syracuse. They're just tune-ups. Like what happens when you need to put new spark plugs in your car. Looks like I gotta use some work. But I digress. It's interesting to see. This could be one of the best basketball teams in a while. And of course, with our incoming recruiting class for next year, it's gonna really get interesting. There could be a bunch of good things next year, but let's not look too far ahead. Now I'm gonna go back to talking about somnambulism. Because, yeah, that's the way Buffalo looked against the Fish. And I thought Allen and the Bills were going to start really hanging stuff on the Fish. But, you know, they must have taken a cue from watching the Cuse. Alright, enough with the Sylvester Stallone imitation. Of course, Sylvester Stallone sometimes when he talks, it's the way it sounds. But you know what? Sylvester Stallone's a pretty good actor when you can understand him. But of course, Buffalo woke up, ding, in the third quarter, and Allen and the offense started to look like Allen and the offense. Yeah, a nice touchdown and a nice stiff arm to finish it off. Also, Gabriel Davis also getting in on the act. But whatever. A 26-11 beating of the Fish, even if it looked ugly, just like me. But you know, next week, it's going to be Jacksonville. We got to go down to play Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. You know, we're going to turn those Jaguars into pussycats. But we'll see. And last but not least, I am going to talk a little about the World Series. Yeah, 3-2, Atlanta right now leads. They could have had a chance to sew it up, but you know what? Houston showed off their bats, and they took away that antiquated chop. You know what, Atlanta? That thing's 30 years old and then some. You need to retire that tomahawk chop. Of course, you don't want to get the Indians all pissed off. Of course, the Indians are all pissed off at everything. That's why I think around New York State or around anything maybe in the country, they need to change their nickname if it's possibly Native American in nature. It's like I'm wondering, what are the Waterloo Indians going to call themselves? Of course, it's still the Atlanta Braves. So you know what? To all the Native Americans, yeah. I mean, we need to recognize you, we need to celebrate you, but you need to shut up. And last but not least, it's election day. I mean, postscript, actually. It's election day. Go out there and vote. I urge you to vote. Yeah, we're not going to elect a new president like we did in last year's fiasco between Biden and Trump. But you know, we could elect the future of economic balance here in Seneca Falls. I'm not throwing my vote any one way or the other, but you know, the dump is the one that's dominated politics around here. And you know what? I'm a little sick of it. Just vote for whomever. But I mean, I'm just going to tell you, who do you want as county supervisor? Do you want Mr. Reinhardt, who I know is going to be a great person if elected? Or do you want a Kraut? No, I'm not using the disparaging term for Germans. I'm talking about a great guy, Paul Kronenwetter. Do you want Reinhardt and do you want a Kraut? I'll have a hot dog with that. I'm Ken Haas, and that's my story this week.